Welcome to Diplomatic Circus, where world leaders juggle policies and sometimes drop them on live TV. Today, we're dissecting the Trump-Putin saga with more twists than a pretzel factory. Dr. Katz, why is it so hard to pin down Trump's Russia stance?
Thanks. Trump's positions change faster than his Twitter password, assuming he still remembers it. 1 minute, he's offering Putin a handshake. The next, it's a slap on the wrist. Russian analysts compare his moods to the Moscow weather. Unpredictable, occasionally stormy, and always headline-worthy.
It's like watching a reality show if reality stars had nuclear arsenals. But recently, the White House is blowing more cold than hot, right?
Exactly. The Russian papers even called it the Russian-American chill. And you'd think after 6 phone calls this year, Trump and Putin would be BFFs. Instead, it's more like frenemies who can't agree on whose turn it is to pick the movie.
So, when Trump said there was no progress on Ukraine after his latest Putin call, his disappointment was palpable. Was Moscow even fazed by his frustration?
Not at all. The Kremlin's spokesman basically shrugged and said, Trump talks tough, but we're not losing sleep. It's the diplomatic equivalent of saying, we're just here for the snacks. They're playing it cool, like a cat ignoring a laser pointer.
Meanwhile, Russian tabloids are roasting Trump harder than a bag of chestnuts in December.
Oh, absolutely. One called him geopolitically achievement challenged, which is a polite way of saying you haven't done squat. If sarcasm were an Olympic sport, Moscow would have gold.
Let's not forget Trump's tariff thrust in percent on every BRICS country. That's like charging extra for every friend in your group chat. Is this economic chess or just checkers with missing pieces?
Given Trump's track record, it's more like hungry hippo smash the board, grab what you can. Experts say only 12% of U.S. trade is with BRICS, so the tariffs are more bark than bite. But it does rile up allies and adversaries alike.
And the Russian press? They're loving the drama, right?
They're eating it up. The tabloids joke Trump changes his mind as often as he changes shoes. If only foreign policy came with a return policy.
It wasn't always this frosty, though. Earlier this year, Russian media was gushing over Trump like he was the last cabbage at a Moscow supermarket in 1987. What changed?
Back then, Trump froze military aid to Ukraine and was friendlier to Russia than a bear with a honey jar. But as American criticism of Zelensky increased, Russia felt like the favorite child. Now, the honeymoon's over, and they're back to trading barbs.
Sounds like a soap opera, but with more geopolitics and fewer commercial breaks.
Exactly, it's as the Kremlin turns. The shift was sudden, and now Russian outlets are lampooning Trump for everything, even his new competition from Elon Musk's America Party.
Let's talk about Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy who became a Kremlin regular. Then poof, he vanished from Moscow like my last slice of pizza. What happened?
Great metaphor. Witkoff was the FaceTime filter smoothing over relations. But after the U.S. canceled talks in June, he's been MIA. The only thing more stalled than those talks is my New Year's resolution to learn Russian.
So, the diplomatic mission's restoration is in limbo, and Witkoff's role is now Where's Waldo level elusive.
Exactly. If only international diplomacy came with a tracking number, but the Kremlin did give him a Trump portrait proof that gifts outlast negotiations.
Now, let's get into the Kremlin strategy. They seem convinced that a good quarrel is better than a bad peace. What's behind this tough love approach?
Putin's playing poker with a straight face and a deck full of wild cards. He wants more territory, more concessions, and a Ukraine with fewer tanks than a toy store. He believes time is on Russia's side, and Trump's offers are like supermarket samples, never enough.
So, Putin thinks he holds the cards. But is he bluffing, or just really good at staring contests?
Only history knows, but the longer the standoff, the more both sides risk losing chips, not just pride.
So much hangs on Trump's next move: more military aid to Ukraine? Heavier sanctions on Russia? Or will he just change his shoes and his mind again?
The Russian press loves that shoe analogy. If only foreign policy was as easy as picking loafers over sneakers. A 2024 study showed that 67% of U.S. sanctions get watered down before they bite. So, will Trump slip on steel-toed boots or fuzzy slippers?
Either way, Moscow's watching every step, hoping for a misstep or a moonwalk.
Exactly. The The real suspense isn't what Trump says, but whether he wears the same shoes 2 days in a row.
Let's zoom out to Ukraine's battlefield. With drone attacks raining down and Russia pushing on 3 fronts, is diplomacy even in the room or just outside, smoking a cigarette?
Diplomacy's not just outside. It's probably texting its ex. Ukraine faces drone barrages, with 70% of strikes targeting infrastructure, according to Jane's defense. Every time a truce is floated, it sinks faster than my soufflé.
And with Trump promising more weapons after a pause, the plot thickens like a borscht left on the stove.
Right, each new weapons shipment makes Putin's quest for a deal tougher. It's a game of who blinks first, with both sides wearing sunglasses.
The Russian press isn't just reporting their roasting. From mocking Trump's MAGA catchphrase now promoting Musk's America Party to lampooning his mood swings, satire is the new statecraft.
Absolutely. It's media as therapy. The more unpredictable Trump gets, the more creative the punchlines. One tabloid quipped, "Trump's foreign policy is like Russian souffle, cold, and you're never sure what's in it."
Maybe humor is Moscow's secret weapon laughter as soft power.
If that's true, Russia's running a comedy boot camp. Meanwhile, American late-night shows are taking notes and maybe a few jokes.
So, Dr. Katz, after all the tweets, tariffs, truce talks, and tabloid headlines, what's the forecast for U.S.-Russia relations? Will the drama ever end, or should we invest in popcorn futures?
I'd say buy the family-size popcorn. U.S.-Russia relations are like a long-running TV series. Just when you think it's over, there's a cliffhanger. With Trump, every day brings a new episode, and the writers keep adding plot twists.
So, for now, we watch, we wait, and we try to keep up with the shoe changes.
Exactly. And if you miss an episode, don't worry tomorrow. The plot will probably do a total 180. Stay tuned.